are up and running. Pre-match mix, episode 23, and we are on the road. So, road trip, BD's driving, here to join us. So, we're actually off to see Iain's team, Kate, which I think on the group chat you recommended, didn't you? You need to go and see Iain's team.
Yeah, he kept putting it in the chat, and I went, somebody go give him a watch.
You know what I just thought of there? Two things I want to do if we can, and he'll probably watch this back, Iain. He always goes on about his team talks, doesn't he? He watches different managers for his team talks. Do you think we should video him doing a halftime team talk?
Oh yeah, if you can, absolutely. And then you got to mash it up with some other great ones and just slip it in there.
Yeah. The other thing I want to find out as well is he said one of his players is called Crumbs, didn't he? But he didn't tell us why.
Yeah,
So
you gotta figure that out.
yeah, do you reckon we get Feeney to interview Crumbs?
Exactly.
Go on, let's start off with a little bit of betting then, Kate. So yeah, unlucky last week. I think you got 2 from 3 last week, 3 from 3 the week before. What have you got this week?
Yeah, we got a couple. First one, we've been betting a lot of Liverpool games recently, so we'll do another one here. Liverpool and Fulham under 3.5. Fulham are like kind of on the beach. There's not a ton left, and they're not like throwing games away. They're still very, very good defensively and solid, but offensively is a little bit hit and miss. And Liverpool, despite the struggles when we play teams like this, do tend to hold on to the ball for long periods of time. And it's just tough for me to see a ton of goals the way Liverpool have been attacking, the way Fulham have been attacking. I mean, 3-1 seems like a lot. 2-2, 4-0. Like, we're looking at a lot of goals for two teams that have kind of been struggling in that department recently. Second one is Chelsea plus half a goal. They're playing City at home. This is this is mostly me just betting on City's season being done outside the cup. And I know everyone's like City are going to make a push and are Arsenal going to fade away and stuff. Chelsea are always a super awkward matchup for City because they're really good at sitting and hitting on the break, and that's one thing City really struggle with. A lot of pacey wingers for Chelsea. Forward plays decent enough to get by a Rodri who's not played particularly well, a defensive line that's not played particularly well. So I think Chelsea can score here. I'm not sure if City do enough offensively to kind of just get any separation. And then Forest and Villa to end in a draw. It's like 3-1, 2-1. Um, Obviously, Forest fighting for their lives and Villa fighting for a top end spot. I just don't think any of these teams are that good. Villa are top four, obviously, but that was just more finishing variance early. They've stretched some of those results recently, but it's mostly come back down to earth for them. And this is the type of team that Villa struggle to score against. Villa love when you have the ball and they can have a go at your back line when they break. You're not going to get much of that out of Forest. So I think that can end 1-1, 0-0. And that one's a little bit low scoring in a draw. So those are the three.
Yeah, I fancy a draw in that match as well between Forest and Villa. Villa have started to struggle a little bit. Do you think he's concentrating on the club now, Emery?
I think more of their struggles is just their numbers coming back down to earth. They started super, super well, and they were just scoring loads of goals outside the box and just a little bit of luck here, a little bit of luck there. And I think it's just come back down to earth a little bit. I I also think they're in Europe and they don't want to go out of Europe and they're kind of getting a little bit tired. Is some of these teams that are in like Villa in the mid table there who get into Europe are a little bit struggling to fill the squad out enough with enough quality that they can rotate, rotate, and rotate. I think a lot of these players are just getting tired a little bit toward the end here too.
Yeah, I think a draw, certainly if it's 2-1, so you say 2-1 on that. It's
Yeah,
worth
it's triggered. Yeah, I have plus 235, which is like 2.35 times your bet or whatever it is. So
got to be worth it, though, hasn't it? Well,
yeah, I think
listen, let's let's talk Liverpool. I don't know whether you want to talk about Liverpool, but I think we certainly must as well. I'll start off with Paul, who's driving next to me. But what did you make of the match, Paul, last night?
I think it's just same old, same old. Very passive, very much letting the other team dominate them. Liverpool at the moment, uh, absolutely fantastic at finding a way not to pick the right pass. There's loads of ways that they're doing it. They always seem to be running into cul-de-sacs. One of the prime examples last night was clock was ticking. It was near the end, and Robertson ran put a ball in, decides to play the ball 40 yards back to the goalkeeper. It's just passive, which we've been saying all year, and there's just no change again. So yeah, same old for me.
Okay, did you watch it? Take it you did.
Yeah, I watched it. I'm not gonna disagree. I think a lot of the system change because they played the five at the back and stuff was a little bit awkward, particularly for some of the attacking stuff because a lot of the attacking stuff had to go through hold up play up top, and Ekatike was kind of struggling with that aspect as well. Um, but yeah, passive, same old, same old. Probably a really a good way to put it, I suppose. They're an awkward team to play against. Yeah, we've played them a couple of years running now, and they're just better than we are, I think.
Yeah, you know what it reminds me a little bit of, but not quite in the same way, was when Brendan Rodgers went to Real Madrid and he rested Gerrard and Coutinho and one or two other players. He almost raised the white flag to say, yeah, I'm giving this match away, and he got slated for it. And I think Slot was saying last night, by not resting players but playing that back five, it was almost saying, hey, we're accepting we're going to lose. It's just by how many. And that was the
Yeah,
intent, I thought.
right. Yeah, I think he didn't want to come out of there like with the team getting their ass kicked, I guess. Which is, I mean, fair enough, but like I don't know how to say it. I get where he's coming from. If we would have played the regular four and the front three were doing their regular non-pressing nonsense, like we could have shipped like six, like genuinely. Like if the front four were like Gakpo, Ekatike, Salah, Verts, and it was just the two in midfield, and we were playing our normal press stuff where Ekatike is not a great presser and Salah's pressing is like gone completely almost, like they would have tore right through that. Like the press was working pretty well, like for the first half hour, but once you got beyond the forward line, it was really, really open. Like we do that with the four, and if PSG were getting open runs in midfield against the four, we probably would have gotten really comfortably beat.
I think our pressing has been a problem all season. Oh, I've mentioned it a few times, and the cohesion between the forwards and the midfielders, and especially when you see Curtis Jones running past the forwards to press the keeper, or Sobersley running past the forwards to press the keeper. I think sometimes rather than the forwards press, the midfielders empty out because the forwards aren't pressing. And I think the stat on that between Salah, SPK, Isaac, Gapo, I think I shared on the Instagram page, between those four players, they've won 31 tackles all season. So it shows their lack of pressing. In midfield, McAllister, he's won 20 tackles this season. He normally hits around 50 plus. So it shows how much he's down as well. And I think Gapo and Soberslide, they were around 30. I think Curtis Jones was 17. So if you look at the stats, we don't seem to be competing and putting our foot in and pressing and getting close to players. I think when I looked at it, Garner for Everton, he was mid 50s. Anderson for Forest, he was mid 50s. And when I went back further, Firmino for us, he was hitting 60. So those four players are hitting 30 near the end of the season. Firmino by himself was hitting 60. Do you think the forwards press enough, or do you think that causes a problem for the rest of the team?
Yeah, I I see that all the time, and I see the posts about it all the time about them not pressing up front, and you can see it. They don't do a whole lot of pushing, and I saw one particular post the other day about Verts, who was near a guy who he could have pressed and then did his best to just get back into position instead of making the press. And I think a lot of what gets lost, I think, with that is that I don't think this set of forwards can press that way. Like, I don't think Salah can press anymore, really. He does enough tracking back and getting a little bit older and all that stuff. His pressing legs have mostly gone. And Ekatike is not really a pressing up in your face forward like a Nunez or Firmino or anything like that. Like Nunez wasn't good at it, but he ran. But Ekatike is not that kind of forward. And as the years gone on, Ekatike has played a ton, and you can tell his legs are like a little bit going some. Um, and it just puts you in a weird spot because if their back four can move the ball wherever they like, and we don't have like a player in the middle either that's gonna win those balls. Like Gravenberg had such a great year last year, and I think everybody forgot that that's not really his spot. And it's just regressed some this year. He's just not been as good tackling. McAllister has been so much slower this year for whatever reason. So I think in terms of the press stuff, they don't do it. And I think that's what is frustrating because when you watch it, like, man, playing right through, we're not really getting up in their face and stuff. But I also think Slot's trying his best to like set the team up to cut passing lanes and stuff like that because they're also not able to do those things. I think there's a mix of they're not able to press and trying to set up a way to make it so that they don't need to press, which doesn't really exist. So it's just really, really awkward there.
The more worries about the shape of the
Yeah.
team as opposed to trying to press them with the ball back. I think the same with Vits when I was looking at the stats on it as well. I'm sure one of the seasons he hit about 55 tackles in a
Mhm.
season. He was pressing quite a lot. And then before he joins us, the season before, it had dropped, and then with us, it's dropped again. So, yeah. Fiend, what did you make of it, or what do you make of the pressing with us at the moment? What do you think?
I agree with Kate on the forward lines, but they're not equipped to do it. I think with regard to keeping the shape, that's proved bothersome as well because especially the midfield. How many times have you seen us just be sliced open completely with a ball through the middle? And again, there was instances last night where Gravenberg just completely left the player. Kvaratskhelia got through and just beyond him and scored the goal. So I think they try and compensate for one thing, but they're still not doing the other thing well either. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword. As I say, totally agree with Kate. They can't press, but at the moment they can't really position the play either. So I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go from here at this moment.
Yeah, so I think make it.
It's like it. I don't know how many Real Madrid games you guys have watched, but when you watch Real Madrid and Mbappe and Vinicius don't like do anything when they don't have the ball, it's like it's similar to that where like because they get played through all the time and there's just no pressing, there's nothing up front, and that's what we have except we just don't have the midfield to deal with it either. There's a lot of like overcompensating, as you spoke about, where Jones will get ahead or Szoboszlai get ahead. If Jones or Szoboszlai get ahead of the front and miss, like the forward line's not going to do anything, and we're short in midfield all in one go. And there were a couple instances during the PSG game yesterday where like Gravenberg moved over to help the press and then missed, and all of a sudden they have a 4v5 versus the back line, or if Van Dijk could come in to like compensate for that, and there's gaps. Like every time someone misses, there's extra gaps pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, I think the big problem with back five as well, especially if you can push the fullbacks back, it does become a back five. And with PSG, they're happy just to leave one forward, and all of a sudden they've got extra bodies all over the pitch, haven't they? That's how they dominated the ball for the whole game because we had a back five and they had one centre forward really, so they have bodies all over the pitch. But yeah, what are
There,
we thinking? What are we thinking of Fulham then, Kate? Move looking forwards. Do you expect any changes? Will Salah come back in?
yeah, I expect him to go back to the regular 4-3-3 or however. We'll see. I think it's going to be mostly the same players also. I don't expect much change except the system to go back and Salah to come back into the team. I think so. And I think Salah will. I don't think they're going to play 5 when PSG come to Anfield next week. I think that'll be the regular team itself. I think he really wanted to go over there and not get blown away, and then see if the crowd can like lift us back. Because when we played PSG last year, we we won the first game, but we were like comfortably outplayed. But in the second game, we outplayed them, bar the goal, like up to extra time, and then the legs went a little bit. But the first 90 minutes at Anfield, we were better than they were, I thought. So I think he was just hoping that the game's close enough and that can drag them over the line a little bit, because we're not. I don't think anybody's fooling themselves into thinking we're on their level at the moment.
Or what do you reckon, Fulham, the weekend?
Gomez will, I think he'll definitely be dropped. To ask him to play 3 games in a row is beyond his capability. Physically, he'll just break down. I'll be interested to see if Frimpong does play a full 90 as well. Again, just due to the problems he's had. Kind of looking a little bit further forward, one of the interesting points about PSG is Spirit Shakni come out today and said they are not bringing any flags to the game in protest of the ticket price announcements that the owner's done. What damage that kind of causes to the atmosphere will remain to be seen, but I think it's really interesting, especially in a real do-or-die game, that you're potentially diluting what could be the biggest asset for Liverpool, be it the supporters. I think the supporters will have a massive part to play in that game in trying to get the Reds over the line, because they're already well up against it.
I don't mean to be rude because they're supporters and all that stuff, but that group in particular picks some really awkward times for the stuff they do. Like, that could have been done next fucking week. We didn't have to do that for the PSG game.
I suppose that's the reason, though, isn't it, to try and make it an even stronger point?
I guess, but man.
Yeah, as Kurt said, they've got form for things like that. And, I can understand the for and against. I can definitely understand the for, but I think, as you say, Kurt, you kind of go, well, can this not wait until we've got, at least get this out the way, really go
any other game at all.
Yeah. But, it's probably targeted for that very reason, and it will be picked up by the TV studio. So, it's a bit of a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, listen, Kate, we're at Ian's game now. Do you want us to do a bit of footage for you so you can see it?
Yeah, sure. Send me some. Yeah.
I'll get it over. Well, listen, mate, nice one for joining, especially at short notice while we're in the car. But it's just to get consistency, to make sure we're throwing an episode out as well rather than missing a week. But yeah, good to see you as always. Anything you want to cover off before we finish, mate?
Do I want to what?
Anything you want to cover off before we finish?
No, I'm good.
Cool. Well, listen, have a top evening, mate, and I'll send you 1 or 2 videos.
Alrighty, have a good game, guys.
See you later.
Take it easy, Kurt. See you later.